10 years ago, I began my software engineering journey, and since then, millions of people have used the products that I had a part in building. I also have this YouTube channel where I teach backend development, and I have personally helped over 100,000 developers learn and grow within their craft. So I'm going to try and share the biggest lessons I've learned from over 10 years of backend engineering into this single video. Starting with backend engineering lesson number 1, which is to focus on the fundamentals before shiny tools. Now, when I say shiny tools, I'm talking about the crazy architectures and frameworks and libraries that you'll see in every single dev post these days. I'm not saying frameworks and libraries don't make your backend better, because when used correctly, they absolutely can. But when creating new software, the tools can change. The fundamentals never do. You can add what seems like an unlimited amount of frameworks, tools, and libraries to a piece of backend code. But at the end of the day, if you don't know how to manage your application, it's going to be a mess. Now, some key fundamentals that you should focus on learning are writing clean APIs, which include things like request handling, types of patterns like singleton, and how to improve the overall system performance. Additionally, we can add logs and monitoring to an application, which are huge just overall improvements. This includes structured logs, maybe some tracing, or how you might correct bad error handling in legacy systems to something maybe like a little bit more robust. Database modeling is important and is often overlooked in systems. Now, understanding architecture patterns is also huge, especially if you plan on learning or creating distributed systems later on. But this is just a start. I encourage you to dive deeper into each of these fundamental subjects and try to master them before trying to learn the shiny tools. If you're wondering how to learn about things like this, the best way to do this is from other people and to always be building things yourself. Now, this brings me to backend engineering lesson number 2, which is to always be learning. I've been writing backend systems for over 10 years, and who knows what the future holds. But what I realize is that I will never know everything that has to deal with backend development. Instead, I simply focus on learning things that will improve the project that I'm currently working on, or create a side project to learn new tools that my current project might not offer. But what I found to be really effective is simply learning from others. And there's really 2 ways you can do this. The first way is pretty straightforward, and it's by reading more code. And the easiest way to do that is to go on GitHub and read through your favorite open source projects. Read to see the engineering decisions, what techniques they use to keep things clean. For example, maybe you notice that the code uses simple design patterns to explain complex domains. As a result, you'll probably learn a lot. If you find that you have a positive reaction to a section of a code base, it's probably something that you should implement in your own backend system. Now, one of my favorite open source projects is Netflix. They have a bunch, and they have one about Fast API. That is a place in which I got a lot of my inspiration from my Fast API clean code project you can find below. The second way you can learn from others is through mentorships, courses, and networking. Though this takes a lot more upfront work to find than the first method does, I was lucky enough to find a mentor when I first started my career as a backend engineer. There are some things that you can only learn through the years of experience you get from a mentor. One thing about software engineering is that you don't know what you don't know. And it's also hard to figure out what's worth learning in the beginning. My original mentor was a senior dev who kind of took me under their wing while I was working as a business analyst at the same company. I had a great relationship with them, and they taught me so much in such little time that really started to explode my growth. Now, backend engineering lesson 3 is you need to be efficient. If you ever plan on being a backend engineer professionally, you need to know how to get things done quickly. Clients and users always demand quick turnarounds, and that is why having a mentor or someone to kind of guide you is so important. But how do you become a faster backend engineer? Here are a few key steps to be faster. One is just general comfort in your chosen programming language and framework. This is unavoidable, and this is why I always recommend Python and Fast API. 2, know what libraries to use. If you can find the right libraries for your stack, you're going to save a lot of time. Now, 3, be adaptive. This means staying up to date with your framework updates, language features, or even AI tools. Now, 4, learn other tools. For example, I use Python to do most of my backend development, but I also use things like Render and Heroku and Docker to be able to ship those services quickly. This helps accelerate creating and deployment by a ton. You don't have to learn all the technical parts of like AWS. A lot of these SaaS products allow you to do this super quickly. And if you like the video so far, go ahead and hit that like button. Now, backend engineering lesson 4, the best code is the readable code. If you're coding right, other devs and your future self should be able to read your code easily. This means no fancy one-liners or weird performance optimizers if you absolutely do not need it. Readable code almost always beats performance-based code. Make your code readable for others. Now, backend engineering lesson 5, work at a tech company if possible. My first software engineering job was at a non-tech company, and almost every leadership team looked at software engineering as an expense, not as like profit generating portion of the company. Due to this, you can quickly be competing for roles with anyone in the entire world because you guys are all considered cost. The basics of backend engineering is fairly easy if you have a strong understanding of software. However, after the basics is when it starts getting more difficult. Find a tech company that embraces software engineers and wants to help make them grow. I'm telling you this because this is a secret formula if you want rapid growth. The companies that care about ROI in their staff are by far the most important thing you should be looking for, not companies that treat you as an expense. Now, backend engineering lesson number 6 is that perfectionism is pointless. Create good enough software. When I started building APIs, I simply built the ones that I thought was interesting. But I realized that backend work is heavily subjective. You know, everyone loves to say it depends when discussing what architecture choices to proceed with and how clean your code should actually be. Here's the thing though, I still kind of do this and I sometimes shoot for perfection and I struggle from this mentality at times. However, don't get lost in the idea of trying to make the perfect backend. Don't be like me. Try and create good enough software. Instead, focus on improving in some small way with every new service that you build. Also, try not to compare yourself to other people. That's a big one. It's so easy to find repositories or people's salaries and think that you're not doing as good as them and you're horrible and that you want to give up. That's not real life. Do not let it discourage you. Take a mental note, but then move on. Now, backend engineering lesson number 7 is that burnout is real. No matter what you do, after years of building systems, you're going to face burnout at some point. You'll compare yourself to others, people who seem better than you. The main point is to reset, refresh, and come back when you're ready. There's just so much to learn. My best advice here is to start slow and really appreciate all the growth you're getting. It is so easy to get quick wins in the beginning, and when times get hard, it can really feel like you're drowning and you just want to quit. For example, one thing I really love to do to reset is just going on a walk, getting out in nature. It's fairly mindless and it lets me process everything I've been working on. The main point here is to take time for yourself and reset when needed. This doesn't make you smaller or, not as worthy. It means you're human, and literally everyone goes through this. Now, I wanted to keep this video short and to the point. If you're feeling any doubt or want me to dive deeper into any of these items, just let me know and leave a comment. I read every single comment on every single video, and I hope this was able to help you. Until next time.